Welcome back to another video. As you may or may not already know, a new firmware was released for the InvisaGig. If you need to, I'll show you how to update your unit in this video. If you have no idea what this InvisaGig thing is, check out my previous video where I go into detail about what it is and why it's so awesome. So what's in the new firmware?
Let's go over some key changes included in version 1.0.8 before we explore it. We'll start with some bug fixes. They improved reliability in network detach and reattach scenarios, meaning better reliability whenever the device is switching connections. They also fixed an issue with APN settings being lost in certain scenarios. That was a big issue for some of us when first setting up the unit. Now let's look at some of the feature changes and additions. The initial setup process has been simplified, removing the need to install a certificate to set up your InvisaGig. Now you just open the URL in a browser and accept a security warning. I'm pretty sure this is where most people got a little lost in the configuration process before, so it's awesome that they decided to make this change. I don't have any specific details on this, but they also included some security enhancements, which is always nice. For the rest, let's move to the InvisaGig config utility. I'll be focusing on what I personally think is most important, but there is a link in the description to the full changelog if you're interested. Alright, here we are at the landing page for the InvisaGig. This one is still on firmware version 1.0.6, so let's update it to 1.0.8. Log into the main menu using your password. Make sure that your unit has internet access, and then use option 10 to check for updates. This process doesn't affect your unit's settings. It just updates the firmware to the latest version, kind of like installing updates for your PC. Type Y and then hit enter to confirm. Your unit should then download the latest firmware and initiate a reboot. Give it a couple minutes here before trying to reconnect. It needs to install the firmware and do some other magic to get itself updated. Once your InvisaGig reboots, you should now see the new firmware version. For 1.0.8, they've updated the order of the options in the landing page menu. Login is now at the top, which honestly makes more sense. You might also notice that something is missing. Every page used to have this internet status element at the top. It was somewhat convenient, but negatively affected the responsiveness of the UI. This has now been moved to the top of the modem info page. Let's log in to see the rest of the changes. Just remember, you need to use option 1 to log in now. Now that we're logged in, let's go over the changes to the main menu. The menu options have been reordered to match the landing page, putting change password at the top. The carrier APN setting and carrier profile selection options have been consolidated into a single option, carrier profile selection and APN. The multiple modem setup menu option was renamed to local IP and multiple modem setup. They also added preliminary support for SMS under a new menu option, text messages. Let's take a look at the modem info page. The internet status element at the top is now color-coded, which is awesome for determining status at a glance. You'll see either a green, yellow, or red background color depending on the status. If we look at the live signal page, we'll see that the signal readouts are also color-coded now. Green, yellow, and red background colors are used to show signal strength. Let's check out the new local IP and multiple modem setup page. You're now able to set a custom IP address when using a single InvisaGig. This is awesome for those cases where you need to match an existing network setup. The last change I'm going to mention is dark mode. And honestly, this might be one of my favorite new features in this update. Dark mode, as you probably can guess, will make the screen darker. It does this by inverting the colors on the screen to make it easier to look at for those of us who are allergic to bright screens. To enable it, type the word dark mode at the main menu, all one word and all uppercase. Once you press enter, it'll switch to dark mode and refresh the UI. This mode affects every page, thankfully, and looks pretty solid in my opinion.
Now, we've walked through the notable changes in version 1.0.8, but I want to hear what you think. What would you like to see in a future release? I, for one, am looking forward to some method of logging. It'd be great to see detailed information about the unit over a span of time. Overall, a nice update from Haven Technologies. If you found this guide helpful, let me know and consider sharing it with someone who might need it. You can find the links to the full changelog and my previous video in the description down below. And don't forget, using my referral link is one of the easiest ways to support my channel. It doesn't cost anything extra and goes a long way in helping me move things forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.